Awesome. So, as I stated, this is the nuts and bolts of a summer internship workshop. My name is Emmanuel Golden. I am one of the career advisors in the Office of Career Development. I've been in the office for almost 2 years now, and I wanted to definitely do a workshop that showcased internships and how to kind of gain an internship, but what to kind of do in your internship as well. This is really, I know the title says that, it's summer internship, but it really applies to any type of internship. So it applies to an internship that you want to do during fall, winter semester, summer, pretty much any academic semester. These types of tips and tricks are really going to apply to. So, what is an internship? So, an internship is a form of experiential learning that integrates knowledge and theory learned in the classroom with practical application and skill development in a professional setting. Internships provide the opportunity to gain valuable applied experience and make connections in professional fields they are considering for career paths and give employers the opportunity to find top talent. So, in sum, it's really about applying those skills that you learned throughout your program to a real professional setting, gaining work experience in your field, or even doing some career exploration. So, one of the things that we talk about when we say do an internship with students, or you should definitely check out, internship opportunities within your field, is because they are valuable. And they're valuable because, you can do career exploration. It's your ability to test the water. I can share my personal experience with doing an internship when I was an undergrad. I did an internship and it really allowed me to see that, okay, maybe this career field is not necessarily where I really want to go. I thought I did, but because I got that experience and exposure to that professional work setting, I got to see or got a glimpse of what that was going to be like with my daily task in that type of profession. So that's why we really push students to that, because you really get to see, is this a right fit for me? You really get to put theory into practice. So you really get to take those things that you learned in your classes and you really get to put them and implement some of those skills, that knowledge development that you've gotten throughout your academic program into a real world work setting. You get a competitive advantage and it's a resume builder. It's an opportunity to further develop your resume and increase your marketing ability to employers once you graduate. I work with students all the time, and one of the things I always talk to them about is getting an internship, because you are able to now market yourself a little bit better than other students who have not done an internship. It showcases that you have been able to familiarize yourself in a professional work environment. You've been able to gain some skills that that employer may be looking for, and you've been able to network and make connections, expand your professional network. Gaining industry contacts is one of the best things that you can do throughout your internship program. It is basically what you do want to do. In One of the things that we talk about with students is that 80% of the students that have gotten job opportunities over the past few years have got them because of their networking and their ability to gain those internship opportunities with those industry contacts that they've made throughout their program and throughout some of the experiences that they've had. And so that's a valuable thing that you want to take away from doing an internship. Receive academic credit for outside the classroom experience. It's always a great thing. If I can get outside of the classroom and apply the knowledge that, I've been learning this entire 2, 3 years that I've been in undergrad, and get academic credit, get a class off of my belt, I'm going to take that opportunity. And so we really push that towards students, that this is an opportunity to take that experience that you learned inside of the classroom, get classroom academic credit, and gain experience at the same time. And it's an opportunity to get your foot in the door, turn into a full-time job. This many times students get internship opportunities, their sophomore year, and then they'll get another internship opportunity, maybe their junior heading into their senior year, or even their senior year, because those opportunities really land or lead to them getting full-time job opportunities. I've worked with students before who have gotten full-time job opportunities at the end of their junior year because they did a summer internship, or they did an internship at the beginning of their senior year. And now when they're graduating, they don't have to worry about what some of their other classmates are worrying about who didn't do an internship, because their internship placement office, or their internship site has offered them a full-time job opportunity. So that's another reason why we talk about internships and the value of internships. So what you want to do when you're searching and finding an internship opportunity, you really want to craft your search plan. So you really want to define your interests. So what type of industry, what types of job functions really relate to what I'm looking for? What industries do I want to go into? What geographic area do I want to live in? Do I want to live in, a major city in the United States? Or do I want to live in a small town rural area? Do I want to, and even I work with DO and MD students who are really contemplating about, well, do I want to go to this market area where there's going to be a ton of competition in New York, in LA, in DC, in Atlanta? Or do I want to go to a small rural area like Campbell, like near Campbell University in North Carolina? So those are the types of things that you want to kind of search through. You want to do a little bit of assessments for yourself about what am I looking for in a job opportunity and for my ideal geographic area. You want to seek recommendations for opportunities. So one of the things that we also talk about with students and alumni is reaching out to current and former faculty members. Those faculty members that you've had been able to make connections with, really get involved with, and those types of things really have a lot of connections in your field. They are the insiders. And so we really push students to take advantage of those people, because they sometimes have the real career connections that you can really leverage to find that internship opportunity that you're looking for. Career development staff. We often have employers reach out to us and say, hey, we have this internship opportunity open, or we have this job opportunity open. We're looking for stellar candidates. And if you've been working with us and we know your face, and you come in and we work on your resume, we work on your cover letter, we work on mock interview skills, we work on how to find an internship and job opportunities and those types of things, it's easier for us to recommend, hey, I have this stellar student, been working with one another for a while. Here's their resume, and they will take it from there. But it's easier for us to make that connection between you and the employer if you've been working with the career development staff throughout your undergraduate or graduate education. Other members of the university community for internship recommendations. Utilize those people, those other staff in the student leadership and civic engagement arena, in campus life and activities. If you've been engaged in the student organization, utilize some of those pro staff and some of those GA staff to really help with recommendations for internships that they may know of out there as well. Develop a targeted search. So you really want to create a list of potential employers and research those companies and organizations. You really want to know the ins and outs, the trends that are going on in that industry, or also with that employer. You can also do that with, one of the apps that I use all the time for students is Bloomberg. Bloomberg tells me a lot about what's going on in the finance industry, but what's also going on with, some of these Fortune 500 companies where, the CEO may be leaving, and there's going to be some structural changes in that organization. Those are the types of things that you want to research. You also want to research the mission and vision and the value statements that, an employer may have, or a potential employer may have for you as well. Examine requirements. So definitely review descriptions and details about the organizations to develop a list of desirable skills and characteristics. So you really want to look at the job descriptions and match how your skills match with that organization's descriptions of what they're detailing, they're wanting from their candidates. And that allows you to really pinpoint within your resume and in your cover letter those types of skills and characteristics that you want to focus on that really match with that organization that you're applying to. Match skills needed. Compare the needs and requirements of employers to your own background and qualifications. Basically, exactly what I was just discussing. Define key selling points. These skills and experiences take center stage in your resume and cover letter. Um, in your cover letter. Awesome. And so we have another person joining us. So, when is the best time to look for an internship? The best time to look for an internship is ASAP. I always tell students, do not just rely on, oh, it's the semester before my summer internship. I'm just going to start the semester before, around spring break time when I really have a chance to kind of digress from some of my studies and those types of things. If you're looking for a summer internship or if you're looking for an internship, I always say start at least 1 to 2 semesters before you want to do your internship. Because many students want to apply for internships with Fortune 500 companies, some of those those big three accounting firms and those types of things. And really, they start recruiting for their internships in the fall semester. So 2 semesters before you even start your internship. So that's why you definitely want to get on the ball ASAP. So as soon as you identify, okay, I want to do my internship in this area. I've been working with a career development team, and I really want to see how and apply some of my skills from my academic program. I'm going to think about doing my internship in the summer. You want to start in the fall, just so that you give yourself the best options that are out there. As stated, getting an internship requires diligence and planning. And the more competitive the company and industry, the sooner you should begin. It is never too early to begin your search process and develop your own individual timeline. Awesome. So, internship start times. Typical durations, the length of an internship can be anything basically agreeable upon you as a student and the company that's hiring you for this type of internship. So pretty much you can start your internship right now and not end it until after you graduate. If you're graduating in even May 2019, you can start your internship now if that's agreeable upon you and the employer. If you're taking an internship or doing an internship for academic credit, it's a little bit different. So typically an internship is about 10 to 16 weeks. During an academic semester, the student typically works no more than 20 hours per week or 37.5 hours per week during the summer. So typically students, and we really encourage students to only take part-time internships during the fall and winter academic semesters, just because you're dealing with your academic studies, you may be in about 5 classes. You're also maybe struggling with, not struggling, but working with student organizations on campus, community service type things, and you really want to give yourself a little bit of a cushion with not taking on too much during that time. During the summer, students usually have a much less workload, and so we definitely encourage taking those full-time opportunities with employers around the nation or around the globe. So typical seasons, fall internship starts at the end of August until the beginning of December. Winter internships are beginning of January until the end of April. And then summer internships start at the beginning of May until the beginning of August. And these are really on the guidelines of an academic internship. So remember that with an academic internship, you have to be attached to a class. And so whenever your class begins and whenever your class ends, that's pretty much where you will get the credit for your class. But if you want to continue that internship after that time period and that's agreeable with you and the employer, then continue that internship. But you will only get credit for your academic course during the time in which you are actually in that academic class. So one of the things that you definitely want to do is network, network, network. So this is really going on the basis of finding an internship opportunity. So networking means that you are making mutual, beneficial, and meaningful connections with people. And networking is an essential component of every internship and job search. And there's different ways that you can go about doing your networking. You can do it at conferences. So I know that students go to different conferences, they present at conferences and other professional associations. Definitely attend those types of things. Get people's contact information, reach out to them, follow up, and those types of things to really build a meaningful connection with that person. That's going to really help lead you to maybe a job in the future, or right now, it may be you focusing on an internship opportunity. The other thing that you can do is, reaching out to community service projects. So when you're doing community service projects, definitely get the contact information of some of those people that you're doing those projects with, because they may have connections in the field that you may be looking for, to kind of connect you with some of the people in, the accounting in an accounting firm, in a business environment, in a real estate agency, and those types of things as well. Social clubs, religious groups, those are awesome opportunities for people to network. One of the things I talk about with social clubs and religious groups is that you already have something in common. So you already pretty much have a connection with that person. And so what you want to do is build off of that connection and really leverage that for the future. On vacation, fellow passengers, one of the things that I'm a firm believer in is if you're on a plane, talk to the person next to you. I just became a really believer in this only because of a personal experience. I was coming back from somewhere and I was on a plane and there was no one sitting in the middle, and the lady on the end was, just having a conversation with me, and she was asking what I was wanting to do after I graduated, and I told her, and she connected me with a professional organization that I ended up joining that has really been beneficial for me and has allowed me to network even more and make connections. So definitely take those opportunities to just maybe talk to someone that you may not necessarily talk to on a regular basis or normally. And you never know where that connection or that networking may lead you in the future. LinkedIn is a great resource for online networking. There's over 30 million professionals using LinkedIn like all the time, every day. There's over 50 million professionals on LinkedIn around the world. So your opportunities on LinkedIn are limitless. There's a workshop that I just created for international students talking about LinkedIn and how to really effectively use LinkedIn to leverage your job search and your internship search. And so utilizing groups in LinkedIn is really going to help, because those are professionals that are also in groups on LinkedIn who are looking to share their knowledge about how they navigated the job search and their internship search, but also may have internship opportunities and job opportunities available at their companies, or may be able to connect you with someone who can. So anyone who is willing to introduce you to people or you have a common interest with, I definitely say network with those types of people. They are critical in your search, not only for internships, but also job search as well, but also lifelong kind of networking as well. So prepare and rehearse your 30-second commercial. You definitely want to have a 30-second snapshot of who you are and what you're looking for. Never go to a networking event or a conference or introduce yourself without having some type of 30-second commercial or pitch to that person, just showcasing the value in who you are, what you're looking for. But one of the things that you want to do with your 30-second commercial, you kind of want to turn it back and you want to ask that person, or can you tell me a little bit more about yourself? Or can you tell me a little bit more about what you do with this organization? And that's a great way of not only showcasing your value, but starting to include that other person within the conversation as well. And then follow up. That's the biggest thing that you can do. There's no use in networking and making these connections and getting contacts if you're not going to follow up with these people. And that's the basis of networking. It's probably the hardest part for people to do too, but you want to follow up with these people because they have access or may have access or know people who do have access to the opportunities that you are looking for. So informational interviewing. Informational interviewing is one of the biggest things I think students can do as undergraduate and graduate students. It's so valuable because it allows you to just connect with someone and ask someone who's in your industry questions about their search, about career options, and just really seeking advice. One of the things that you don't want to do is you don't want to treat it as a job interview. It's not a job interview. It's not an opportunity for you to say like, I'm looking for a job or I'm looking for, an internship or anything like that. It's just an opportunity for you to start making connections. It's really highly focused on conversations with network contacts designed to launch or boost your career. It's the most effective form of networking. I will say that. It's really easy for students to do informational interviews because you don't have to be in a room where there's a ton of professionals and you have to go up to them and shake their hand and introduce yourself right then and there. It's more of a mutual conversation over the phone, in person, and those types of things. So the purpose of really for informational interviews is exploring career options, seeking advice, gathering information about occupations, developing relationships for later, an overview of the structure of the organization, advice about other related jobs, advice on getting started in the field and what they seek when hiring, advice about career progressions, and referrals to other people in the field. One of the things I always talk to students about is that last point, referrals to other people in the field. You want to be able to leverage their connections and also look at the opportunities that you can gain by talking to the people that they're also connected with. I always tell students never leave an informational interview or shadowing opportunity without asking that person, are there any other people that you'll be able to connect me with? Is there anyone else that I would be able to talk to or discuss a little bit more about this career field? Those are the types of things that you really want to do to really grow your network and grow your contacts so that when you need to make, when you're ready to find internships and start applying, looking for job opportunities and those types of things, you already have a contact list, a list of contacts that you can network with and leverage for those opportunities. So this is going into more so when you're in your internship setting. So one of the things that you want to make sure that you do is be professional. While completing your internship, you want to make sure that you're arriving on time, you don't leave early, you follow the employer's dress code, and you watch your language and topics of conversation. There's two things on here that I really want to stress a lot, and that's arriving on time. Time is valuable, and one of the things that I always tell students is to be early is to be on time. To be on time is to be late, and to be late is unacceptable. Remember that throughout your internship and your job functions, because that is really going to carry you throughout your career. Always be on time for your job, for your internship placement, for meetings, for those types of things, because it shows the employer that you respect their time. And that's something that you definitely want to do. You want to showcase that you respect the time of that organization and that you are engaged with that organization, because you're wanting to be early, you're wanting to be on time, and you are present. That's one of the most important things that you can do is be present. The other thing that I want to say is watch your language and topics of conversation. One of the things that we have seen throughout our office with workings with some students is that some topics are not necessarily appropriate with the types of employers. So really try to gauge what type of topics are and are are okay within your work setting. If you feel as though it's not a topic that you should talk about within a work setting, then it's probably not. But also look at that goes back to us researching our employer and looking at the types of topics that they actually have and the type of environment they also want to create within their organization, so that you know when you're going in there the type of language and the type of topics of conversation that will be brought up from other professionals within that environment, but the types of topics of conversation that you can bring up yourself. So have a good attitude. You are taking advantage of an internship for one reason or another. Your attitude can help decide if you have a great experience or a horrible one. I have met with students who have done internships, and they've said, like, I didn't really enjoy my internship, and they put a little bit of it on their supervisor or some of the people within that professional environment. And I asked them, okay, what was your attitude like when you went in? Were you enthusiastic about going into the internship? Were you upbeat? Were you courteous? And some of them have said yes, but then some of them have said no. And that really impacted their internship experience, because they necessarily didn't have a great attitude, weren't enthusiastic about their internship placement, because it necessarily may have not been exactly what they were looking for. But you have to make the best of that moment. That's all about being flexible and all about being able to learn, willingness to learn. If you can be flexible, if you can be enthusiastic, and you can be willing to learn within a professional environment during your internship, you can be really successful with possibly that employer inviting you back on for a full-time opportunity. Your attitude goes a long way and it speaks volumes. And so you want to make sure that you have a great attitude on your internship site. Meet with your supervisor. So try to schedule regular meetings, one-on-ones with your supervisor, to discuss some of the specifics about your work environment, how you're enjoying your internship, some of the problems that you may have that may be arising with your internship placement. Talk about some of those details and specifics about your projects. Let them know, like, hey, if you're struggling with this project, let your supervisor know. Be okay with that. Also, determine your work hours. One of the things that we always talk to students about is, determining what the parameters are for your job functions, how long you're supposed to be at your internship site each day, and those types of things. Because you may be getting hired and the employer says, yes, we want you to be here, at least 25 to 30 hours a week. Well, that may not, be sufficient for you. You may think it is at that moment, but 3 weeks into your internship, you may not be doing well in your classes, you're falling behind, and you want to talk to your supervisor about possibly adjusting your hours to make sure that they're beneficial for you, but also working for that organization as well. Learn about and volunteer for upcoming projects. You definitely want to talk to your supervisor about like, hey, there's a new project that's just been announced with your organization and you want to volunteer for it. You have the time to do that. Definitely do that. If there are projects within your team and you want to definitely like, hey, I want to take on this opportunity. I want to work on this project and in this team with them. It may be outside of what your normal project is or what your set project for that internship is, but volunteering for outside things that you may not necessarily have a specific interest in will go a long way with an employer. Update him or her on the status of your projects. So definitely just keeping them up to date of what's going on with your projects, how you are adjusting to the environment when you first get there, but also make sure that when you're finished with your internship, you follow up with your supervisor and you guys have a one-on-one and a debrief about the entire internship opportunity. That way, they can definitely adjust their internship process or program once the next person comes in for that internship opportunity. So immerse yourself. So take advantage of all that is provided to you. Get to really know the company and its industry. While you're working there, be sure to introduce yourself and get to know your colleagues. One of the things that you want to do is you want to be engaged, and that's something that I continue to talk about is being engaged in that work environment. That shows an employer that you are interested in what they are doing and what you're doing there. Be sure to take time to read training manuals, company policies, memos, press releases, trade publications, all those types of things so that you can stay up to date on not only what the organization is doing, but also some of the trends within in the industry, but also with that company as well. So definitely take initiative. Don't sit around and be bored in your cubicle. Seek out opportunities and become involved. If possible, like I said, volunteer for projects, attend meetings, ask questions, conduct informational interviews. Remember during your internship that this is also an opportunity for you to learn. You're not supposed to know every detail about that organization or about that industry. This is an opportunity for you to gain more insight, more information about this career field that you're looking to pursue. And so conducting informational interviews on your internship site is something that you can definitely do. Talk to your supervisor about maybe meeting if you're working in the accounting area, but you also have an interest in marketing. Ask your supervisor about possibly doing an informational interview with one of the people, the director in marketing. That's something that you can totally do to gain a little bit more insight into what they also do in your other interests, your career exploration as well. Build your portfolio. So a portfolio is an excellent way to demonstrate to potential employers your accomplishments. We just launched here at NSU Portfolium, and it's a great way for students to add some of their experiences and their accomplishments from their internships, from community service, from research, and so on to an online portfolio. And it showcases that work to all of employers who are connected with Portfolium. And so that's why you really want to make sure that you're keeping copies of your work to include in your portfolio. So if there's any press releases that you've been able to write, if there are any projects that you worked on, presentations that you made, letters of recommendations, and those types of things, you want to make sure that you are keeping a copy of those types of things so that you can add them to your online portfolio that we have here now at NSU. Remember to ask permission first. Some organizations have policies regarding that what information can leave the office and those types of things. Of course, if you're working for like the NSA, I mean, that would be, something that you wouldn't be able to take out of the office. But there may be other companies out there that will allow you to take some of the work that you've created outside of the office environment. So, how to leave your internship experience. Schedule a final meeting with your supervisor to discuss your performance. Definitely, you want to provide them with feedback, but you also want to get feedback from your supervisor as well. And that's the other thing about creating meetings with your supervisor is getting continuous feedback. You want to know how you're doing within that internship and on your projects. And so let your supervisor know how you like to be supervised as well. Remember to obtain contact information from the supervisor and your coworkers. That's all about that other networking piece of, creating that network of contacts so that when you are applying for job opportunities, you have those people to be able to reach out to now because you've created that contact list. If you receive a full-time offer after graduation from the organization, make sure you ask for all the details about the start date and salary. Make sure before you accept that type of offer, you're asking the right questions. You're wanting to know, when am I supposed to start? What's the salary requirement? Am I going to get some type of relocation allowance and those types of things, because you may be here in South Florida, but you may have done your internship in Arizona with Republic Services. And so you want to make sure that, if you're moving all the way to Arizona after you graduate, and that's like only 3 months away, then you want to make sure that, hey, I have a cushion here where some of my expenses for moving may be paid for. And if there aren't, you can adjust what you're going to do next, and better strategize and plan for being able to move for that job opportunity. Always share with the Office of Career Development if you have been offered or accepted a position with an organization where you did your internship. This really gives us an opportunity to further build relationships with employers who you may have done your internship with, who we may not have a connection with just yet, but we can start establishing that relationship with them, and it creates a streamlined pipeline for more NSU students to come after you, to gain that same or similar internship experience with that company. Also, we just want to know how great you guys are. Our interns or our students are doing amazing internships out there with companies like Deloitte, Disney, Microsoft, Google. And so we want to know more about your internship experience, but also the different placements that you've gained as well. So these are different career resources. And so basically, career development has an internship page, and on the internship page it gives a little bit more details to some of the information that I've provided to you today, but it also has a video of students who have done internship opportunities, and they're talking about their internships and explaining a little bit more about their process and the importance of gaining an internship and the value behind it. Also, it has the internship request form for undergraduate students. So for graduate students, there is no internship request form for getting an internship for academic credit. That basically goes through your program, and you will have to talk to your program office about that. But for undergraduate students, there is an academic form, internship form that you will have to complete to get an internship or to do your internship for academic credit. If you don't want to do it for academic credit, you don't have to worry about filling out that internship request form. The other thing that we have is Handshake. Handshake is really our go-to one-stop shop for all of our career resources and opportunities that we have here for NSU students. It has on there job and internship opportunities. It has the employers that are all on Handshake. So it's easy for you to identify different employers that you may want to work for or do an internship with, and easily reach out to them and say, hey, my name is such and such. I'm really interested in your company. I want to know a little bit more. Would you be able to set up an informational interview, or do you have any internship opportunities available for the summer, and those types of things. So it really gives you a little bit more insight to the employers and opportunities that are out there for internships and job opportunities. We also have a resources tab that goes a little bit more in depth with some of the things that I've talked about today too. It talks about resume development, cover letters, the interviewing for an internship and job, mock interviews, and those types of things that you can get resources online with Handshake. But you can also come into the Office of Career Development and talk to one of the career advisors about those types of things that you want to get involved with as well. The other thing is Portfolio. I've already a little bit explained Portfolio, but it's definitely something that's really going to be valuable for students here at NSU to showcase, their accomplishments and the things that they've been able to work on throughout their internships, research, cover letter, community involvement and those types of things to really showcase to employers and market to employers that they are valuable. They've had valuable experiences as well. And then LinkedIn. LinkedIn, I explained a little bit, but LinkedIn is a valuable resource that you want to use really for networking opportunities. And also, LinkedIn has a few internship opportunities on it as well. So visit us in career development. So if you want to find us, we have 2 offices on campus. We have 1 office here in the Horvitz Administration Building. This is pretty much our main office. It is next to the One Stop Shop. We're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 p.m. Our drop-in hours are from 9 a.m. to 4:45 p.m. That's basically where you don't need an appointment. You can come straight into the office and you can meet with one of our career advisors for a 15-minute drop-in session. And then we also have Career Labs. So Career Labs is something that's brand new. We introduced this year, and it's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And that's basically where students can come into our career library and they can work on anything that you want to work on. So you can work on your resume, you can work on your cover letter, you can work on interview tips with 2 of our career advisors and 2 of our peer advisors as well. And that's a Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And it's here in the Horvitz Administration Building in our career library. And then we also have our Carl DeSantis building. It's on the first floor in our career development office. They're open 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Their drop-in hours are a little bit different. They're Monday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., and then Fridays from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. We also do appointments by Skype and by phone. So if you can't make it in person and you want to schedule an appointment, you can still do that. We do have appointments by Skype and by phone. Those are pretty much any type of appointment that you would want to make. So if you want to talk about, mock interview or interviewing skills, if you want to talk about your resume, cover letter, or just about career exploration, we can schedule an appointment and we can do that over the phone or Skype or in person with you as well. So I'm going to open up the floor. Does anyone have any questions that they would like to ask? And feel free to unmute your mic as well. No questions. Awesome. So I guess I covered everything. So if you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. My email is ig260@nova.edu, or feel free to reach out to the Office of Career Development to schedule an appointment at the phone number below at 954-262-7201, or by email career@nova.edu. Thank you, Akila. I appreciate you attending. So if no one else has any questions, thank you guys for attending our session today. I hope that you found it beneficial as you start your internship search or continue your internship search. And feel free, like I said, reach out anytime and I can answer any questions that you would like. Thank you. I will also send this to you guys once I stop the recording later today. Awesome. Thank you for attending and have an amazing day. Bye-bye. Awesome.
Thank you.
No problem. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Sorry, I decided not to do it in the room because obviously you're the only person.
Yeah, that's why I came late too, because I was in the room and I was like, what's going on?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine.
Should have put a note on the door. But yeah, there was no one in there, and I was like, this is gonna be awkward for the to the screen. No one's here, and everyone's online. So I was like, let me just go to my office. But I appreciate you attending. Yeah. I will definitely send you the recording.
Okay, I appreciate it.
And one thing that I do need to
I didn't even realize that there was an online portion to through it. Like, I didn't know that was available.
Yeah. Pretty much all of our workshops now are going to have some type of online component, just because we have a ton of regional and online